warriors.
19-year-old Fiona Amuzie is the recently crowned most beautiful girl in Nigeria 2010. Fiona hails from Anambra State, born into a family of 3 girls and 2 boys. She is currently a student at the University of Jos, where she is reading microbiology. Miss Amuzie has decided to use her title as a platform to launch her own non-profit organization, namely the Fiona Amuzie Movement Against Trafficking in Persons, or FAMATIP. Her aim then is to create a greater awareness of this terrible scourge and to offer help to victims. And her vision is to have an impact which is both national and global. In a recent visit to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Fiona was made an official ambassador for the cause by the agency's Executive Secretary, Barrister Simon Egede.
It is now my honor and privilege to induct you as a MW ambassador in the fight against trafficking. And I have here a plaque which I present.
I am overwhelmed to be on board with a man who is putting in so much effort in combating this terrible act. I thought it wise today to advocate on an issue that has bothered me so much, being inspired by my mom, Mrs. Amuzie. There's of course no more basic human rights than freedom from modern slavery. Millions of people are still trafficked or forced from their communities to be exploited and abused. At some point, it is estimated that a large number of people are being recruited, entrapped, transported and exploited within forced labor as a result of trafficking from one country to another. This trade in all its many forms nets an estimated amount of $32 billion each year for traffickers, according to the International Labour Organization and the United Nations. We must say enough is enough to this barbaric crime. Women should rise up in their large numbers and advocate. Traffickers must not go unpunished. They should be seen as enemies of all people and duly punished.
She then went on to visit the NAPTIP shelter in Abuja, where she met victims of human trafficking and invited them to celebrate her birthday. More recently, she visited a community in Jiwa, Abuja, where to an audience of men, women and children, she raised the issue of human trafficking in order to educate and enlighten them.
We should be enlightened by the word human trafficking, because if we don't know what it is, we can't know how to fight it.
Human trafficking is essentially a modern-day slave trade, with the victims being predominantly young women and children. These victims are forced into sex and/or domestic work, both in Nigeria itself and across the globe. With the problem being exacerbated by poverty, greed and poor legislation, there is little wonder that it is on the increase. The International Labour Organization estimates that there are 12 million cases of child labour in Nigeria concerning persons aged 10 to 14, whereby UNICEF reports that there are states in Nigeria more seriously affected by human trafficking than others. These states are Edo, Delta, Imo and Kano. The terrible scenarios which ensue are all too often as a result of impressionable young people being duped into believing the traffickers' promise of a better life. A staggering 60% of women trafficking victims working in the commercial sex industry in Italy are Nigerians. And it is estimated that over 20,000 Nigerian girls, largely from Edo State, are engaged in commercial sex work across Europe. With these shocking statistics in mind, Ms. Fiona Amuzie believes human trafficking to be one of the most salient issues facing her fellow Nigerians today. She urges us to unite in order to combat this ghastly plague on society.